hereby called to order. Madam Clerk, can you please call roll?
Freeholder BOBADILLA. Present. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Jones, absent. Freeholder Luciano.
Here.
Freeholder Richardson.
Here.
Freeholder SEBOLD. Here. Freeholder TORO, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Here. Thank you. Please stand to salute our flag. I'm going to ask District 4 Freeholder Luciano to please lead us in the salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for anyone who may have lost. Thank you. I have before me a certification from the clerk that this meeting is indeed in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. At this point, I'm going to ask District 4 Freeholder Len Luciano, who represents the great township of Verona, to offer greetings, as well as invite any elected official to the microphone to give greetings as well. And we really truly appreciate the use of this beautiful space to go out and take our meetings on the road to make it easier for residents to attend. Freeholder Luciano?
Thank you, Madam President. I guess no introduction needed. My name is Len Luciano. I am the district freeholder representing this community of Verona. I want to say thank you to you, Madam President, to our clerk, Deborah Davis Ford, and to the mayor, deputy mayor, and elected officials of this township that were able to put this meeting together here in Verona. I know, being a freeholder for the last 5.5 years, one of the things that I had spoken to the clerk with when I was first elected is our meeting schedule when we go out to different communities in different municipalities. And what I noticed the first couple of years is we sort of stayed in some of the same communities year after year. And so about the third year, I said, you know, when it comes time to go out into my district, I'd love to rotate around. One of those communities that I had in mind was Verona. I know we tried to get it done a couple of years ago, and it really just didn't happen, but I'm glad that, you know, while that may have fizzled out, you know, the new mayor and council and town administrator were really working with us and willing to get this done. I know that we're not in your town hall, which is something we do take pride in, but this is a beautiful facility that wasn't built long ago, and I know that you guys use it for all kinds of civic things, so thank you for having us there. And of course, at this time, I'd like to call up our mayor, Mayor Ryan, Deputy Mayor Knockupson, as our councilman Manley is still here. If you could all come up and bring introductions. Thank you.
Thank you, Len. Once again, my name is Kevin Ryan, and I am the current mayor of Verona. But I've served on the town council in Verona. This is my 6th year now. So I feel very comfortable in saying that we in Verona are very happy to have you here. As Len diplomatically alluded to, we've had a lot of changes here over the last year or so, a lot of new faces, and we considered this sort of like a fresh start. We wanted to make sure that the county felt welcome to come in here and to hold any events when we have the opportunity to do so. As Len mentioned, this facility, we're very proud of it. We have hosted a lot of although we don't have our council meetings here, we do have our planning board meetings and our board of adjustment meetings in this space, because we usually get a bigger crowd than what we get for our town council meetings. If we have an inkling though that we might get a big turnout for a council meeting, if there's a particular issue that's of great interest to the community, we wouldn't hesitate to move in here. So we are happy to see you here, and we hope that this will be the first of maybe, you know, at least a more frequent schedule of events that you will consider having in Verona. And we're not charging. We do rent the room out too, by the way. I'll make a little pitch and we can generate a little revenue. Mayor Jackson's giving me a little. It's a great facility. In addition, we have a kitchen over here, so you know, if people want to bring in food or heat it up, and we've just recently opened our new two new fields in our recreation complex. If you get a chance to take a drive up there, right down White Rock Road, and go up, we have 2 brand new athletic fields up there. We're very proud of that. It's a great complex. We also, host events from other towns, once again for a small fee, but to help us defer some of the cost. We also want to thank the county for allowing us to use some of the overflow parking space. As you know, the county public works yard is down here, and they've been very cooperative with us in terms of, leaving the gates open when we have a big event that requires overflow parking. So it's great to see you here, and I'll ask this is Deputy Mayor Moxon and Councilman Manley.
Bob Manley, thank you. Just to echo the mayor's comments, we're thrilled to have you here. Welcome, and please make yourselves at home. Deputy Mayor.
And I just wanted to thank once again our town manager Matthew Cavallo and our municipal clerk Jennifer Kiernan, because these are really the people who make Verona go. And I think that from what I understand, Jennifer and your clerk have had a nice relationship just in terms of putting this together. So I wanted to acknowledge them as well.
Just wanted to say thank you for being here. I know Lenny Luciano really represents our township and the freeholders of Essex County very well. We assume Lenny is almost a resident because he's in town often, and we really appreciate him having Verona really on the county circuit. We're a small town, but we always point out that we are aligned with the county, whether it's Bloomfield Ave, the Hilltop, Kips Castle, the beautiful Verona Park, or even your building, which is almost next door, just on Bloomfield Avenue, which is the engineering building. So we do appreciate that, and we have a lot in common, and we know it's all about cooperation, communication, and we think we do it well. But we do appreciate you guys holding the meeting here. We'd love you to keep us on that circuit in the future, and we want to thank the freeholders in total, and Joe D, and along with Phil Elagia for including Verona this year on the concert series circuit this past summer. We had our first concert there, hosted by the county. It was a real success. We'd love to be considered again next year. It was a hot evening, but we had a great turnout, and it was great. It made the summer special on top of our own concerts, and we appreciate the focus you guys put on our small community. We're happy to be part of Essex County. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may, Madam President, I just wanted to add one comment. Thanks for the remarks, gentlemen. But I will, if we're going to keep Verona Park on the concert series, I'm going to ask that it's not on a freeholder meeting like it was this year. Unfortunately, I couldn't make the concert. I know I was invited many times by the mayor and deputy mayor, but it landed on a Wednesday, which was a freeholder meeting, and I couldn't slide it. So next year, maybe we'll talk with the Parks Department. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. And I'd also like to recognize someone else in addition to the elected officials, when I think of Verona, I also think of the Giblin family and Teddy Giblin, who's here tonight, you and your family, and his father's a dear mentor of mine. So thank you for being here tonight. I don't know if you have any words that you wanted to say, or if you just wanted to hang out.
Sure, I'll say a few words.
Thank you, Madam President, and the rest of the Freeholder Board for coming to Verona. I've been here with my family for about 9 years this year. I have 2 kids, and I think it's great that you came up to have a meeting here. I think this is long overdue, and we appreciate the folks in the town for putting this together. Just one observation. I don't know where this comes from, but I didn't see anything in the paper about it. I didn't see anything on our website about it. If we maybe could work together to find a better solution to publicizing the meeting, because I think there are a lot of folks in Verona who may not always understand the great things that happen at the county level that benefit us. And I think this would be worthwhile for other people to hear about things you're doing in the parks, things you're doing with cultural affairs, and so on. And I think that would be beneficial. And again, look forward to hearing what your plans are for future county events over the next few months. Thank you.
Okay. Phil Luciano?
That's it.
Hold
Thank
on.
you, Madam President.
Thank you so much for welcoming us here. I would like to recognize Freeholder Jones present with us. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Madam President, there are none.
Are there any topics of discussion?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay. Let's move to public comment session. For any members of the public who are here tonight or at home watching on television, tonight's meeting is what we call a board meeting in which we're going to be taking action. It's going to seem as if it's moving very fast on items that were discussed at our last week's conference meeting. And so at this point in time, if there's any member of the public wishing to comment on agenda items only, please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, monitored by the clock to my left. Tedesco?
Good evening. William Tedesco, Roseland, New Jersey. I want to speak on an item that I don't think should be on the agenda personally. It's of course number 39. I think this item shouldn't be there. I don't believe it's going to help the people of New Jersey. Well, let's look at the track record, really. Atlantic City, personally. All right? It was supposed to be the revitalization of Atlantic City. Atlantic City is worse today than it was before. So it didn't help. I don't think this is going to help anything. We don't know where the casinos are going, basically. I mean, it's going to be we're voting on something that's surprise, you know, whatever. And I think that's wrong. I could stay here for hours on this, but I'm giving a little remedition here. Let's go back, and probably most of the people don't even know it, I'm sure, whatever. Let's go back to Governor Hughes. We got a 3% sales tax that's supposed to make my property tax go down. Well, it's up to 7%, and nothing's changed as far as I'm concerned. Then we got an income tax. That didn't help anything either, you know, really. Schools didn't get better, a lot of things didn't get better over the years and over the years, basically, all right? And we're paying more and paying more. So we're gonna gamble. We got lotteries that are up the wazoo, so-called. I mean, unbelievable. So I don't believe this is gonna help us anymore. You know, again, we have all these taxes and fees and everything. Is New Jersey better off today than it was many years ago? Not when I was a kid, anyway. And that's how I feel, personally. And has it helped people? Yeah, I'm sure it has helped some people, you know, basically. But the property tax in this state is outrageous. And none of these things help it. Ask anybody. I mean, that's what's wrong with New Jersey. That's why we're losing representation here, you know, as far as that's concerned. So, you know, I don't see why people should vote for this. I think it has a bad track record and whatever. Like they say, you know, it's just too many things. I remember as a kid, the Parkway in Essex County was supposed to be free, in or out. Go on the Parkway, you can't pay. It's $1.50. Go over to George Washington Bridge. Do anything you want. They tell us we're going to get better. Vote for this bond. Vote for that. I don't think the people are better off. That's all. So I don't think this is going to do anything for the people of New Jersey. But thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tedesco. Are there any other members of the public that'd like to comment on agenda items only? Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment on any issue at all? Come forward, state your name and affiliation, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, monitored by the clock to my right, to my left.
Jack McAvoy, I'm in Verona. I discussed this, I got up at our council meeting on Monday night, but I figured since this opportunity arose with everybody here, I run and walk a lot in the town of Verona, and safety is a big issue in this town, obviously along Bloomfield Avenue where people speed up and down. I've noticed that there's no crosswalk at the main entrance, and we just talked about how beautiful Verona Park is and the events. At the main entrance on Bloomfield Avenue to Verona Park, I think we need, I know the county is in the process of doing lines on Bloomfield Avenue through Verona, and was just wondering, I know it's, you know, be rather a short amount of time we give them, but it would be nice if we can paint a crosswalk, possibly two, one before and one after the park. This way, I also think it would slow traffic down coming down Bloomfield Avenue. Your moment of silence, you asked for people that we've lost. We all know a guy in Verona was killed a couple months ago on Bloomfield Avenue. They caught a person hit and run. We all know him, dear to Verona. Sorry for losing him, but I think this is a problem. You know, we talk about it when it happens, and then it goes to the wayside. So if we can, little things like this could prevent tragedies like that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment on any issue at all? And those members who spoke and had direct questions, you will receive a letter in writing from us within the next 7 business days. Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances on introduction and first reading?
Madam President, we have none.
Okay, how about ordinances or resolutions for listed purposes only?
Madam President, we have none.
How about resolutions and ordinances for second reading and public hearing?
Madam President, we have none.
Okay, please move to resolution number 1. And as a matter of fact, you know what? The resolutions were read into the record at our last meeting. However, Mr. Jackson, it's usually Mr. Chilella, 52 fake out right there. Do we have any member here to come before us that's being appointed? Any resolution 1 through 4? Which resolution? Number 1. Okay. Madam Clerk, please read resolution number 1.
Advise and consent nomination for reappointment of Joseph Diarco to the Essex County Veterans Advisory Board.
Okay. Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Madam President. The County Executive is honored to present Mr. Diarco for reappointment to the Veterans Advisory Board. He is a distinguished public servant, longtime public servant, and we're honored to have him on the board. And he's here to answer your questions.
Hello. Please tell us a little about yourself. We understand that this is a reappointment. We like to have reappointments come before us because in addition to just refreshing us about what it is that you do, we'd like to know about any activities that happen that were exciting during your term.
Well, first I'd like to say it's a pleasure to be here, and I'd like to thank the Freeholder Board on behalf of all the veterans of Essex County, which you are attempting to assist, advise, and provide new programs for. So I thank you, and I thank you for all your work that you're doing on behalf of veterans. The advisory board, the chairman does report to the Freeholder Board on the research and projects that they've been exploring. We have had meetings in Montclair and a few other community locations as space becomes available. It's been fairly active and filing reports with the freeholders relative to those exploratory programs that they've been working on. As for myself, I wish I could put more time in. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm still working full time and do commit those Saturdays. And we do have meetings. I am a life member of the VFW and a life member of the Veterans of Vietnam Veterans of America, and I'm privileged to serve this county as an advisory member, and thank you.
Thank you, and let me be the first from the board to say thank you very much for your service, not just on this advisory board, but to our country. Freeholder SEBOLD?
Thank you. I've known Joe Diarco for many, many years. I can't even count how many years I know him. He does a wonderful job, and I'm really pleased that he's willing to give his time to devote to the Veterans Advisory Board. And I'm going to say this, although it's related to him, but it's not directly his responsibility, but his wife, Louise Palagano, who is a municipal clerk in Bloomfield, was at one time a freeholder. And some of you may remember her. And Joe Diarco is her husband, whom I've known, I can't even count the years, and I'm so pleased to see you tonight. Thank you.
So much for my anonymity. It's usually when I meet people, it's, so this is Louise Pelagano's husband. And someday I'll have identity, but that's quite all right. I think she's a great lady.
She is, and so are you. You're a great man, great man. Thanks, Joe.
Freeholder? Okay, thank you. We read into the record resolutions 1, 2, 3, and 4 at our last meeting. Do I have a mover?
I'll move it.
Second to take resolutions 1 through 4. Moved by Freeholder Sebold. Second by Freeholder Jones. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and it's my honor to serve.
Okay.
Very well.
Resolutions. Resolutions 5 through 10 were all read into the record last week. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments about resolutions 5 through 10? Freeholder Luciano.
I just want to make a comment, Madam President, in regards to resolution number 5. Put on the record that the Belleville Nutley Columbus Day Parade will be Sunday, October 9th at 1 o'clock. I've marched for the last several years. I look forward to marching again this year. And congratulations to those that are being honored to have, at the Grand Marshals, to have the name of the street changed to their name for that day. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments regarding resolutions 5 through 10? Mr. McInerney?
No questions, Madam President.
Mr. Polavecchio?
No questions, Madam President.
Okay, and again, you're going to see this meeting move rather swift, as these items were discussed at our previous meeting. Do I have a mover and a second to take resolutions 5 through 10?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Luciano,
Second.
second by Freeholder Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro, absent. Freeholder Sebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones. Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Now we're going to move to resolutions 11 through 21. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments regarding resolutions 11 through 21? Okay, Mr. McInerney?
Just to remind the board that the audit is on here, and again, as I said at the last meeting, it's something well worth spending some time, taking a review of, especially the disclosures to the audit report. There's quite a bit of information in there that you can glean, get a good sense of where the county stands in a lot of different relationships between the departments. It's an excellent read.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. And I look forward to going over it again. Freeholders? Mr. Polavecchio?
No, nothing in addition to what was said last week, Madam President.
Okay. Do you have a mover and a second to take 11 through 21?
Move it.
Moved by Freeholder Richardson. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Freeholder Sebold. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Jones. Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you. Now, our commendations were all read into the record last week. The only thing that was not read into the record, which we will have at a later time, is Resolution 39. However, commendations giving honor to outstanding citizens as well as organizations, and unfortunately sometimes in memoriams, were all read into the record. 22 through 38, that is. Mr. McInerney, do you have any questions or comments?
I don't.
Mr. Polavecchio?
No questions, no.
Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Okay. Do I have a mover and a second to take accommodations 22 through 38? Moved by Freeholder Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro, absent. Freeholder Sebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones. Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Now let's move to resolution number 39, which was not read into the record at our last meeting, nor was it discussed. Madam Clerk, please read.
Resolution 39, resolution supporting a yes vote on the November 8th, 2016 ballot question, proposing a constitutional amendment to present casino gambling in 2 counties other than Atlantic County, sponsored by freeholders Luciano, Timberlake, Richardson, Jones, and SEBOLD.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Mr. Paul Vecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders? Freeholder Luciano?
Thank you, Madam President. I was the one who originally went to the clerk with this resolution, and I just want to put on the record that I'm supporting the referendum that's on the ballot come November, asking the entire Freeholder Board to vote in support of this resolution so we can encourage our residents, especially of the northern counties, to vote for this project or potential project. I do want to say, though, I hear and I understand the sentiment of Mr. Tedesco. You're right when you said Atlantic City is broken. I am very disheartened to say that, but if you go down there now, as opposed to going down there 10 years ago, it just isn't the same city, and it's very unfortunate. But moving forward, we have a big issue, not just in the state of New Jersey, but tri-state area and nationally, where folks are out of jobs. And if we have businesses that can flourish and laborers and workers and union members that can be put to work to build such a project, I think that overall the positives outweigh the negatives. And I must say, Mr. Tedesco, a couple of months ago I was sitting in a Borough of Roseland mayor and council meeting in the back. And you're a very smart man, and I do want to take my hat off on public record to something that you proposed to that town, and that was to put water and sewer bill on your tax bill so that you could write it off at the end of the year. I see nothing wrong with that. I thought it was a brilliant idea. So while I may disagree with you here in this case, I'm asking the freeholders to support this because we're losing revenue that comes in that supports education for folks that are going to Pennsylvania and Connecticut and other places to gamble. I also believe that we have such a facility up here in North Jersey as far as the Meadowlands racetrack that could be an excellent spot for casino gaming, including slot machines, poker room, hopefully one day sports parlors. Several years ago, I don't know if you folks remember, but there was a referendum on the New Jersey November ballot for sports gambling. It passed overwhelmingly. I am in full support of that as well, and I think that it can only enhance our state and take us out of the red and into the black. I don't know why the federal government and the Third Circuit keeps blocking sports gambling when the people here of New Jersey have spoken. So hopefully one day we will all be able to sit in a North Jersey casino with all the amenities, and many folks will have been put to work with full-time jobs with the casino and for jobs that may only last a part-time but will put good folks to work in the building and construction trades. So I wholeheartedly support it. Any of the members of the Freeholder Board that aren't part of the sponsoring freeholders on the agenda, if you would like to join and possibly pass this through acclamation, I would be willing to accept that. And at that, Mr. Tedesco, I know we will answer you in writing, and I'm sure you'll get some of my input there as to how I feel about this. But again, thank you for your courage, and thanks for coming up to the mic and supporting what you believe in. Thank you, Madam President.
Okay, freeholders? Freeholder Bobadilla?
I am totally opposed to this referendum. I honestly don't think the brick and mortar casino model works anymore. Obviously. All right.
It's fine.
All right. So I'm going to repeat myself and say that I will not be voting on this, supporting this referendum. I don't believe the brick and mortar casino model works anymore. As we all know, the online space, medium, and mobility has taken on a different shape, and now people can gamble at will, wherever they are, any time of day and night. I also don't think that, when we talk about jobs, really, what kind of skills are we giving people, and what kind of jobs are they getting? Just 2 falls ago, with the support of the administration and the Essex County Vocational School, I put I think I can speak loud.
It's not working. It's just
You
gonna
know,
be recorded.
so, thank you.
That one's
There we
good.
go.
That's good.
All right, now we're gonna do that. So, like I was saying, 2 falls ago, 2 winters ago, I approached, Joe D. and the Essex County Vocational School System, and I said, you know what, I was Cisco certified in my 20s, I earned a really, really damn good living. I said, why don't we put a Cisco Networking Academy in our high school, right on Market Street? So, I had to make a little proposal, Joe liked the idea, the vocational school really vetted it and realized that these kids were actually going to get a real modern day competitive skill, right? Not dealing cards, not any of that sort of thing. So I did a salary analysis, and what we realized is that at the end of this program, when kids graduate with 2 Cisco certificates straight out of high school, not even in college yet, straight out of high school, starting salary for them would be $39,195. Right? A skill that they can grow on, that over 10 years they would yield over a 6-figure salary. So what we need to stop doing is we need to stop holding the hands of people who really don't want to work and get really, really good skills under the belt, because let me tell you, where we live in modern day USA is just getting more and more competitive, and we need to have the skills necessary to compete, and I don't think we're doing it. So I'm definitely against this. I think if you want to put really tax dollars into the best investment you can, concentrate on education. Really, start at preschool and go all the way up, because that's going to yield you the best dividends all around. Thank you.
Freeholder Jones?
I'm going to support it. First of all, I live in an urban area, and every day I see healthy men and women who are homeless, who are the forgotten people. Skills is fine, but these are adults, some are young. I will agree that they should go to school and get a trade, but these are middle-aged people, men and women with families who are looking for public assistance. Now, we talk about Atlantic City. The planning was wrong. When they took the convention center off of the boardwalk, it did not allow the people that came to the conventions to get to the boardwalk unless you have taxi or some type of public transportation to get there. And secondly, it's been there since for 30 years. When the first one opened, of course, I was there. And people are going to gamble, whether it's in the north, south, or just whatever. But I do believe if it's one there are jobs that is not skilled. People who make beds, who cut grass, who mops the floor, who runs errands. And there's so many jobs. They're not top level jobs, but some of these people that is walking around with no job will give them some opportunity of trying to make a viable living for their families. And when there is no type of income coming in between 2 people, this is what happens. The family is destroyed. Father walks away, mother raised children, offer taxpayers money. So I'm just saying trade is fine, but I think it is an opportunity to bring the casino in the northern part. It don't have to be in Newark, but just wherever they put it, it gives them a better chance, because this is basically the heaviest population is in our area among these urban cities. And this is where you see poverty and people who are suffering. Now with the high school, we talk about the vocational school. We had vocational schools, but it was political that they got rid of them because they didn't want them in their community. They're blue collar, blue ribbon schools now. So you talk about careers, many of these average boys and girls who are just borderline C students, they can't even get into the vocational school because they're looking at the academic records. So I'm saying we need to look at jobs, we need to educate our community, we need to do a lot of things, but it would be a start. And I'm going to support, and I could just go on and argue, but the bottom line is, I am just looking at the people that I love, that I serve, and where I live. Somebody needs to reach out and help them. And the school system, large budgets, they can bring back those. It was taken out of the school system. Vocational education was taken out. Shop, everybody had to take shop. Home economics, all of the machine shops. The vocational school in Irvington was closed. Sussex Avenue, now there are blue ribbon schools. So that C student don't stand a chance of getting in there and getting a skill. You have to be honor roll students. So what you're saying, we need to compromise, look at jobs, and it's enough money that is generated in the state of New Jersey that we can do two things, not just one, but many other avenues to reach the population of people, because everybody is not equal. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholders, Freeholder Richardson.
Yeah, I just want to echo what my colleague, Freeholder Jones, just was talking about and referencing. While the Cisco systems is a great idea, I hope it gets implemented. That's fantastic that it's going on, but why can't we do both? You know, that's just one track. So there are people who are gonna be dealers, and people are gonna gamble, and those construction workers, you know, there's no money in TTF, the Transportation Trust Fund. So there are hundreds of construction workers out of work. This could put some of them back to work. So, you know, I implore everyone else who was interested in putting people to work to support this resolution, because it is about job and job opportunities. And we're big enough and smart enough where we can do more than one thing at a time.
Brother Bobadilla?
Yeah, just, you know, we're going to have differing opinions. We know
Absolutely.
that, right? 100%.
Sure.
I just want to tell you, the last time we heard a big, great idea like this, it was called Xanadu. And I want you to take that into consideration, okay? Because look what happens there. Our tax dollars, billions of dollars, and what we got? Absolutely nothing. Debt that we paid for, no jobs, no prospect, nothing. So I could understand, trust me, I want a layman to work as much as a skilled worker any day of the week, because it's part of our community. You know, we all have a vested interest in our community, but I can tell you that these big ideas are more political than anything else, and the last one was called Xanadu.
Freeholder SEBOLD.
I just would like to add one more comment to what was said. I agree fully with what Freeholder Jones and Freeholder Richardson and Freeholder Luciano said. But I know many people from this area, the northern counties where we live, Essex, Hudson, etc., who travel out of state to go to casinos. If we were to have one in this northern section of New Jersey, we will get many people who will be using it, and we will have many people coming from New York City to use it if it's located in this area. And that's why I believe we ought to have one, at least one casino in this area of our state. Thank you.
Freeholder Richardson.
So just another comment about Xanadu, and you're right. Initially it was done and nothing was done, but if you are following it now, it's about to start up again.
I hope so.
Yeah, no, that's a fact.
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, so, you know, And this is why we have a democracy, and it's a beautiful thing, because people can agree to disagree, and they can vote however they'd like, and vote their conscience and their heart. Mr. Tedesco, you raised some very interesting points, and they are points that have been raised to me before. Everyone knows that I'm very close to my father, and he shares your sentiments, and he and I discuss points of policy quite often. And I too, originally, I was a bit uneasy about, okay, a casino in Newark. First, let me just say that you're right, we don't know where it's going to be, right? And if we find out at a later time that it's going to be anywhere other than a place such as the Meadowlands, which is a little more secluded, or where I would like to see it, which is by the airport in Newark, so people can fly in and out, and also then being taxed are people outside of our state and our county. If it's in anywhere else except for those two places, and it is decided that it's going to go in a residential area, I will not support it anymore. However, I can be no more clear than that. I believe that, again, it should be at the Meadowlands, or it should be someplace at the airport. I don't want to see it sitting in the middle of Newark in a residential area, or anywhere even, you know, a few blocks from residents. Regarding the discussion, the spirited discussion that's going on, holding the hand of people that don't want to work, I don't think that that is what this is doing. This is simply about jobs. And I set the direction for this Freeholder Board last year as well as this year, and I was adamant that we would do things to create jobs. The unemployment rate is very high in the state of New Jersey, and the statistics for Essex County, we are one of the highest with the unemployment rate as well. And a casino brings several different occupations. It's not just card dealing. There's a hospitality industry, which is actually, you can take up a hospitality degree at a 4-year institution. It's a very serious profession. There's the restaurants, whether or not it's from being a chef to a sous chef to a waiter, a waitress. Of course, you have maintenance, so there's some engineering that have to go into it. The building trades, as my colleague spoke about, janitorial, and then even seeing how much is it going to generate by ordering from the community different supplies that it may need. What is its potential to generate money? Would the restaurants be under contract and there could be some type of clause? I don't know, I'm not an attorney, Mr. Michael Paul-Vecchio, that says something along the lines of, we'd like for you to order from the local farms in New Jersey to help stock some of the foods. There's a lot of different things that we can put into place, and we can learn from the mistakes that have occurred from what happened in Atlantic City, and put different parameters in place for this casino so that that doesn't happen. And furthermore, I'm in support of this because the casino is a large revenue generator for education as well as seniors. And there is a fund, and there's a lot of things that go out to help support our seniors. And because of the condition of Atlantic City, and because what we're seeing happening, and potential revenue fleeing from our state, going into Pennsylvania, going into New York to gamble, we shouldn't have to lose that, because it really is about our seniors as well as about the education system. Now, with that said, Mr. Tedesco, you brought up very important comments. The property taxes are still high. What does it mean to you? That's basically what I reduced it, with all due respect, your question to. What does it really mean for the people if our property taxes are still high? But I think that we haven't seen in quite a while what it means to our people whenever that revenue is absolutely not there, what it will mean for our seniors as well as the education. So with that said, I'm going to close with what I started with, that I support the casino coming to northern New Jersey, and the asterisk next to that word support in that sentence leads down to location, location, location. I'd like to see it either at the Meadowlands or some place close to the airport. And if it is put in a residential area, then that is whenever I will no longer support it. Freeholders? Okay. Mr. McInerney? Mr. Polavecchio? All right. Do we have a mover and a second to take? Yes, Mr. Polavecchio?
Just so everybody's clear what this resolution is, there is a ballot question on the general election ballot November 8th to amend the state constitution, which would permit casino gaming in the northern part of the state where it's currently prohibited. So this is a support resolution indicating the Freeholder support for a positive vote on such a ballot question. So this obviously doesn't have any binding impact on what's going on. It's supporting that cause.
Can I ask one?
Mr. McInerney?
Was there any indication, is there any indication in the referendum of whether this is a public entity that will be, or a private entity that would be constructing this, or the funding source?
No, I don't know.
Just curious.
No.
Any other questions or comments? Do we have a mover and a second?
I'll move
Moved
it.
by Freeholder Luciano.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro absent. Freeholder SEBOLD?
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill absent. Freeholder Bobadilla? Freeholder President Timberlake?
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Okay. Moving to report of board committees. Do we have any report of board committees? Freeholder Rufus Johnson now present with us. Are there any report of board committees? Are there any legislative reports? Do we have any written communication? Is there any unfinished business? Any new business to discuss? Now moving to public comment session. If there's any member of the public wishing to make any comment at all, please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, monitored by the clock to my left.
Good evening, Freeholder Board.
Good evening.
My name is Terry Miles. I'm the Director of the Washington Park Conservancy, and I'd just like to thank the Freeholder Board for us. We had given information. We had given information that we needed different information, like we needed the track fixed, new basketball court, and other things that was a gate that had been fixed, and all that was taken care of. And we'd like to thank Freeholder Board for making sure that got done. And we are doing a lot of programs at Wasatch Park, and we would like to have everybody's support. And it seems like we're getting it, and we're very thankful for it. We're providing recreational programs at Wasatch Park, and we had a great summer. This summer we had a lot of programs that we did. We had basketball camps, we had football, and various activities. So just want to thank the Freeholder Board again, and we are pleased to be working with the Freeholder Board as partners with the county. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Terry. Terry, I just want to say thank you to you as well as to John. You know, those changes at Wachusett Park, these gentlemen were sitting in my office and said, this is what we need, a new basketball court. The track was completely ripped up, and they work with thousands of children throughout the year and doing just great sports programming for East Orange and the surrounding communities, Bloomfield, even Newark. There's a lot of collaborations that occur. So this is the Park Conservancy that is working very, very hard in East Orange, Wachusett Park. And I'm very proud to be the freeholder in that district and to work with you gentlemen. So thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment on any issue at all? Please come forward.
Hi, good evening. This is Kevin Ryan again, the mayor in Verona. The gentleman I just spoke spurred my memory about some issues here in Verona Park that I just would like the Freeholder Board to be to be aware of. As I said in the opening remarks, and I think the Deputy Mayor alluded to, we're very proud of the fact that we have the county park here. There has been a number of improvements made to the park, but in fact, as recently as this past Monday night, we had a town council meeting, and some of the issues that came up, and I think Mr. McAvoy alluded to them earlier, about traffic control in the park. We have contention in the park between walkers, and I'm a frequent visitor, a frequent walker, and bike riders. We're happy to say finally that the no bike riding signs got put up in the park after being down for about a year. But if we could get some education or enforcement, we still have some people doing it. I'm not one that advocates, writing tickets or hauling people over. But if the sheriff's offices are in the park, if they could take a little more cognition and let bike riders know that it's really not a good place to ride a bike. Having said that, if there's any way that we could put a bike path or expand the paths in Verona Park, I think we'd be overwhelmingly in support of that. We recently just honored a sustainable business in Verona called Electric Spokes. It's a bike store. We're not anti-bike, and in fact, we may be approaching the county at some point. One of our residents came up and asked if we could consider putting bike paths, not just in the park, but on some of the roads in the town to make it safer for bikers. And since a lot of the roads that we're talking about are county roads, I just wanted to bring it to the attention of the freeholders. Our Grove Avenue, Fairview Avenue, bless you, are county roads, and we think they might be wide enough to accommodate that kind of a project. So we're going to sit down with the biking community and get a little more input on that. I see Mayor Jackson sitting here. I think that he's nodding. I think you've had a similar issue in Montclair, and we sort of good next door neighbors, so we might be able to even dovetail something in along those lines. We've also had a situation in Verona Park where we've had a chronic water problem, drainage problem, going from in the general area of the boathouse into the lake. It's constantly wet. Okay, now in the summertime it's just an irritant. We are approaching the winter months when it's going to get colder. If this isn't addressed, I think we're going to have a potential issue with liability. If it freezes over, it does cross the walking paths, so we still have a problem there. We have a very active conservancy in Verona Park, and there's some great people. Jim McGregor, the president of the Park Conservancy, literally works his tail off to make that place look great. So if we could get a little cooperation, just on those two issues that I just brought up, we'd appreciate it. And as I said, we love the park, we treasure it, and I know other people in Essex County. When I'm in the park, I hear great comments about how the park is maintained. And I think all of you would be the first to admit, if it wasn't for the conservancies in all the parks, not just Verona Park, they would not look as great as most of them look. So I think we really have to do everything we can to facilitate the work of the conservancies and help them with their job. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak? Madam Clerk, let the record reflect we have no other member of the public wishing to speak at this time. Public comment session is now closed. Freeholder comment session is open. Freeholders? Freeholder Johnson.
Madam President, I'd like to vote affirmative on 1 through 39 on our agenda tonight.
Okay, thank you. Okay, freeholders? All right. Do you have a motion to adjourn?
Move it.